What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Mystic Watch, and today I got a new video for you. We are going to be doing top 5 best units in each attribute, and in this video in particular we're going to be doing the green units or the HP attribute, whatever you want to call it. Tomorrow we'll do one of the other two, and then the day after we'll do it like that. Now, I'm doing green because we are going to mention Coin Shop Merlin, who currently is not in the game, but if you guys watched my previous video from today, you would have saw that there's a very high chance that Coin Shop Merlin is going to be this week's unit. So I'm going to include her, and I'll also have that honorable mention spot, so you can take a look at it this way, where if you don't include Coin Shop Merlin, just slide everyone up one. Kind of like that. Now, let's get into it. I have some SRs on here that I want to talk about, and I'm going to do a list where I'm going to do this list twice within this video, one including the SRs and one not including the SRs. That way you can kind of see how much of a difference they actually make, because there are a handful SRs that are amazing in this game. And what I'll end up doing is, once I do this like in one rotation for global, I'll also do this again maybe a week or two after for JP. That way you can kind of see what to expect, right? Like currently, how does global stack up with the units versus JP? Where do these same units stack up when compared to the JP pool? So let's get into it. To start off, we're going to put in honorable mention, and this for now. I'm going to talk about them very briefly. So currently I'm not going to include SRs. Very briefly, let's see, Elizabeth. One of the best healers in the game. The main thing is she's really good at getting ultimate rush. She fills her own ultimate gauge by 2 at the start of the battle. And then on top of that, when she heals, she fills everyone's ultimate gauge by 2. So once you get that first ultimate off, you can kind of keep rotating ultimates. She's not really that good in PvP, so I would not use her there. But very, very usable when it comes to raids, story mode, especially Grey Demon. So early on, while we don't have Gother in the game, and we're not able to beat these extreme Grey Demons fast enough, Elizabeth does a really, really good job at helping out. I want to include her as an honorable mention. Great unit. She actually does a decent amount of damage with these moves. Like, this multiplier is really high. Cleanse buffs, stances and buffs here. This is the similar move to King, just a little bit reversed, where it's a heal, then removes debuffs, then so on, where King is the other way around, where first one removes debuffs, then the second one heals, and so on. And yes, if you have partnered with a Fat King, it just heals more. That's really it. It doesn't change this number at all. So honorable mention number 1, King. Kind of the same reasoning. He's amazing for Grey Demon. He is almost he's borderline a must-have for Grey Demon, because if both people don't have a green king, I don't think you can win Grey Demon currently without 2 people having a green king. Like, I think you can get away with one person having it, but if no one has it, you can't win. And this is even like in today on JP. I think you can beat it without Green King, but even then, it's still hard. So there's really no, like, what do you call, when you can't replace him, you know, there's no replacement for this King. So he increases crit chance by 10%, and he gets an additional 50 when his ultimate gauge is full, giving him over an additional 100% chance, putting him at 130%. Then you have just this move that does double crit damage, and it hits super hard. He does even more damage in Grey Demon, which is why you really need him there. This move with Ruin doesn't really do anything particular. Not that big of a deal. And then his ultimate is the same as Blue King. Ignores resistance. Yeah. He doesn't do anything super unique. He just hits very hard. You're also going to use him a lot in Training Cave once that unlocks. But he is used in PvP a decent amount, and you'd be surprised about that. If you build him up for a Grey Demon, you want to give him a shot in PvP, you're going to be genuinely surprised at how good he is. The main reason why he isn't being used right now is because we don't have Merlin in the game yet. Once Merlin comes out, this king becomes a lot better. Let's go back to the tier list. Then, at number 5, we're going to put in Meliodas. Meliodas, although I call him the best unit to re-roll for, he is not the best unit in the game. And people need to distinguish that, because there's so many people that are like, oh, why'd you say re-roll for Meliodas when he's not even that good? Meliodas is the best unit you can have for story mode, to get through story mode, to get through a lot of the content in the game without giving yourself a headache, or having to over-gear your units or overwork your units to beat a mission that Meliodas could beat super easily. On top of that, he's useful in... You can use them in Gray Hard, and pretty much just win with one full counter. Story is must-have, right? Without Meliodas in the story, it becomes really, really rough. Even today, for example, Global is currently on chapter like 105 or something like that when it comes to the story mode. JP is on chapter 200. I still use Meliodas on story to this day. He is not going to be like wasted aside. It's just that on PvP, his value goes less and less because people come out that are just better than him. If you can get a crit with him on this move, it just nukes people. Absolutely insane. His passive is fine, increases crit chance in proportion to lost HP. So, yeah. Besides that, there's really not too much. His ultimate is nice, it cleanses buffs and stances, and if we get Super Boss Battle King to come out, and you have a decent Meliodas build, it's going to help you out there a lot. So Super Boss Battle King gave me a very difficult time, and I had to use Meliodas to get through it because of his full counter. So don't listen to people who are saying Meliodas is useless or anything like that. It's a great unit, going to help you out on story all the time, and he's useful in multiple forms of content. Okay, wrong one. Number 4, we're going to go with Coin Shop Bond. Now, this is, just remember that this video is applying at the time of me recording it. So we're talking about the stuff up until now, right? This stuff changes significantly in the future. So currently on Global, this is how the standings are. I want that premise out there. Coin Shop Bond was the latest banner to come out on Global, making him the newest unit, and also the first summonable coin shop unit that we got. Overall, he's just a monster, right? His snatch skill is so good, stealing 20% from all units when it comes to attack and defense, and adding it onto himself so that when he does hit with his Drain move, which is a weird... Why is it called Drain? Whatever. When he hits with this move, his AoE Whip Nunchuck move, it hits hard. Very hard. So he's a very strong AoE attacker. Build him with an attack defense set. His passive is fine. It doesn't go off that often, but when it does, it helps out a little bit. It's nothing too spectacular. But for the most part, you see him in PvP. He'll be used in PvP for a very, very long time. You don't see him in any story, really. You can use him in story, it's fine. You don't really see him in raids. It just doesn't work well for him because all the raids are single target and he's AoE. So he doesn't really do that much damage. When it comes to PvP, however, both geared and ungeared. So he'll be usable in ungeared for a little bit, but he really shines in geared, where you can stack his attack and he can just take out half your opponent's HP on turn 1 with a snatch into Drain. And once he gets UR gear, don't worry too much about UR gear, I'm just for people who have played JP. Once he gets UR gear, he is usable for an extremely long time. Even now, top of the rankings, people are using a decent amount of Bond. But don't think he falls off that hard. He just won't be usable in ungeared PvP for too long. But he's also the best farmer in the game and significantly speeds up your clear times when farming. Now, let's go to the next unit. Where do I want to do this? I feel like I missed someone. Yeah, that seems right. But who am I forgetting? Did I miss someone down here? I don't know. I had the list set up before. It looks a little bit weird now. That's why it's throwing me off. Well, I believe... Oh, that's why. Okay, I had it like this originally. Where I had Elizabeth at 5. Okay, that makes more sense. I was so confused because I'm like, wait, I had Jericho at 2. Sorry about that. This is the correct way. Everything still stands. I had Elizabeth just slightly above King. But these are relatively interchangeable. You can make an argument for either one, if I'm being honest. You can go like this. It's that, I don't know. It's weird. Maybe I'll do it like that for now. And then I'll throw, like, Elrum in here. Well, let's talk about Jericho, and we'll come back to that in a second. Jericho, one of my most favorite units in this game, best nuker in the game for the longest amount of time, hits like a truck. You guys have seen her by now if you've been playing any PvP whatsoever. Jericho increases her crit chance infinitely by using skills, making it so that she can always crit in a prolonged fight. On top of that, she has such a good moveset between applying a debuff with bleed and then applying weak point on this skill, making it so that she hits super hard. If you crit with this move on a debuffed enemy, they just die half the time, or you're taking out half their health, even on ungeared. Now, the main thing about Jericho is, let's see, her ultimate does double crit damage, and like I said, where she stacks her crit chance infinitely, she can almost always guarantee her ult will crit. And this makes it so that you just hit hard. very hard. Especially if you have dupes into her. I've done a couple of showcases with Jericho where I take her on PvP, or I showed her off on Guild Boss, or something like that. And I just show the power of, like, my Jericho at the time was a 4 out of 6 ultimate. So she had 832 multiplier with the Gila. And it's just like, hey, you're easily breaking like 1 million damage with these crits if you have a proper setup with like a Gustav and attack buffer. Besides that, it's just, she just hits super hard. That's really it. She's a must-have unit for any sort of event that scores, in particular Guild Boss. If Super Boss Battle also has a scoring mechanic, you'll need Jericho there as well. Must-have unit, you really can't get by without her. If you want to stay up to date with this game, she's in the coin shop this week. Make sure you pick her up before she leaves. She's also really good in story mode. I used her as a substitute to Green Meliodas to show that you can beat Hendrickson with this Jericho rather than just using Green Meliodas that everyone was talking about. And the thing is, she is viable for the longest amount of time. However, on PvP, she will fall off soon enough. Once we get a Red Helbram to show up and make... The resistances on this unit are extremely low. She has zero resistance, right? This means that enemies, whatever their pierce rate is, they're just doing that much more damage to you. You already have a low defense amount. So it's like... she dies very fast, is my point. So she's going to end up slowly coming off of PvP. That will not change anything about her being amazing, best nuker in the game until Derriere comes out. And then of course, number 1 unit is going to be Merlin. If you guys don't know about Merlin, I just dropped a video about her. It's going to be the video right before this one. And I break down exactly what Merlin does, why she's so good, and I even show her off in a PvP match on JP. So she should be coming out this week, so if you guys are watching in a couple days, she probably is out already. That's the only reason why I'm including her. Now, Merlin is the next coin shop unit. The thing is, she's not the next coin shop unit on JP, but it seems like we're getting her really early on Global. Passive fills all allies' ultimate gauge by 1 at the start of battle, severely increasing, you know, how fast people get ultimates. If you're going second on PvP, you gain an additional, you know, ultimate gauge from just going second, and then if you use ultimate gauge food, you can start off with 3 ultimate gauge at the beginning of your turn, making it that you just get everyone's ultimates immediately, and it's insane. She has the same move as Red Bond, SR Red Bond from the story, the free-to-play one, that allows you to deplete one ultimate gauge. It's the same exact multipliers as well. The move works the same way. Her second move is Perfect Cube, where she makes a barrier based on attack. The nice thing about barriers are, if you make a strong enough barrier and your opponent, let's say we'll use Bond in this case. Let's say you have your ultimate and you make a barrier and the opponent has an SR Bond. They want to remove your ultimate gauge. Unless they break the barrier, that effect does not get applied. So any move that has an effect that also does damage has to actually deal damage to you. You guys might have noticed this in if you're doing Red Demon early on and you were trying to petrify him with King, but you did no damage and the petrify didn't go off. The same kind of concept applies here. So Merlin does have a really cancerous team that you can't make yet, but it's a team that severely reduces your opponent's attack damage and then increases your resistances through the roof, so that when you get these barriers on and they just can't do anything to you, and you just kill them with ultimates. Besides that, the main thing about Merlin is that she's a high utility unit, always going to be used in PvP, geared and ungeared, one of the best units in the game, and she's she's one of my top 5 units of all time. I think she's highly underrated because she doesn't get shown as much since she's not a damage dealer. She's not doing big numbers or anything like that, but she's always there. She's always annoying, and that's the main thing. You also can use her. The thing is, she's really good in Grey Demon as well, simply because of her barrier. This move doesn't do anything in Grey Demon. The main thing is just stalling with barriers. And then her ultimate does single target damage, disables attack skills. This isn't really that important. It is useful, but it's not that important. I have her maxed out, her ultimate on JP, because she is... What is it? Oh, no, go back. She's Demon Meliodas' Fate Partner, and she's Escanor's Fate Partner. And there's no SR version of this Merlin, meaning that to get a full, full value out of her as an associated unit, you need her maxed out. And once you do get a few points in her ultimate, she one-shots with her ultimate. Pretty much any blue unit and any green unit tends to die from her ultimate. It's really funny. So let's go back and talk about... Okay. Let's go back and talk about this, for example. It's really hard for me to place these two, and either one is fine, right? It's just that, just know that they're both great units. I'd probably put King first and Elizabeth down here, simply because he is really a must-have unit for Grey Demon, whereas as the game goes on, you don't need Elizabeth because she'll get replaced with Merlin. Elizabeth is still very useful, but I don't think she's going to be anything necessary. And Hellbrum is just nice. He's just an attack buffer, but I just wanted to mention him very shortly. That's really all his job is. He's used in a couple of different modes just to give everyone an attack boost. Now, if I was going to include SRs, the only thing that would really change is I would bring King down here and potentially put Gil Thunder up there. And I would put Gustav in honorable mention. Now, Gil Thunder is used significantly more than King. He might even be up here, and it might be like that. That's how good this Gil Thunder is. He's just that good of a unit because he's... Let me see, do I have Gil Thunder up? Yes, I do. 1 PvP, amazing passive, increases all allies' defense-related stats by 30%. So it just makes it so hard to do anything to it. I don't know if that's actually right. Is it defense-related stats, or is it just defense? If it's defense-related stats, that seems a lot better than what I thought beforehand. Let me see. Let me take a look. Come on, game. Load up. Heroes. Gil Thunder. Defense-related stats. Wow, I didn't even know. I thought it was just defense this entire time. That makes it even better. Because crit resist with all these people running around with Jerichos, including me, I love my Jericho, makes it even better. But yeah, pretty much you use them in the back on PvP. Amazing, amazing unit. Absolutely no, Just so good. Best SR in the game by far. Hands down. No competition. And then the other thing is, he's also useful because of this move increases attack up to 60% for everyone. But even in PvP, he comes in, he just boosts an attack, and you just nuke with their other 2 units. On top of that, look at his usage everywhere. Used in Grey Demon, Crimson Demon, Red Demon. Use him in every single raid because you just want that attack boost to speed up the process. Used in both geared and ungeared PvP. Not used in story, but he's used in pretty much every sort of boss content that this game offers. Especially if you're going for a high score and you need to get a big nuke down, you need Guild Thunder to give yourself an attack boost. Just overall, super good. Still used to this day and everything on JP. No doubt about it. Amazing unit. So I would have him up here. And then Gustav, I'll mention it very briefly. Main thing about Gustav, he's a free-to-play version of Red Merlin. And the main reason you run him is for this freeze. That's it. But that freeze single-handedly makes him an amazing unit. Because just look at what it does. You break the freeze, you do an additional 80% damage or 200% damage. Now the other thing I want to mention is he is Hellbrum's partner. So he makes it when paired up with Hellbrum, we don't have this Hellbrum yet, but when paired up with Hellbrum, he gives another 70% more buff thing, damage on his ultimate. And Hellbrum is a pretty weak ultimate, so you really need the Gustav there. And this Hellbrum is amazing when he drops, so it makes this Gustav even more important. And that's going to be it, really. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit longer video. I always want to make sure I'm explaining everything that I'm going through. Keep that in mind. Thank you. If you guys like this, well, what was I going to say? I keep repeating words. If you guys like this video, make sure you stick around for tomorrow's one. I'll be going over red or blue, whatever. I'll probably flip a coin, I don't know. If you guys have one in particular that you want to see, let me know. Besides that, hope you all enjoyed the video. Make sure you're subscribed for the daily content, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.